EOM Business Network. So much for one broadcast.
The campaign for Saturday's governorship elections in Ekiti State, southwest Nigeria, took a dramatic turn on Wednesday as security operatives were reported to have blocked the entrance to Government House. They were also said to have fired tear gas at the governor. Elections in Nigeria. We are concerned about this development as you cannot divorce political development from the economic space. Hello there, many thanks indeed for joining us. You're watching the EOM Business Network, indeed the voice of corporate Nigeria. I am Olorogo Elkanah Mowari. Today on the program, as always, our communication is on the Nigerian economy. We'll be interfacing with select industry operators about their businesses in relation to the operating environment. Also, the lineup is spot on, and we have the Executive Director of Urban Abode Limited. On the face-to-face is an accomplished legal luminary and elder statesman, Alaoye Broderick Bozimo, who is a principal partner, head of chamber, Broderick Bozimo and Company. It's a package you must watch. Please stay with us. This is an amazing job opening. Media, television, marketing. A university or polytechnic degree in marketing or mass communications. XNYC. Good looks. Good spoken English. Marketing experience. Between 22 and 40 years old. 5 feet 9 inches tall or more. 250,000 naira per month. A car and a driver. If the cap fits, then send your CV to eombusinessnk@yahoo.com.
Let's start with legal matters. There have been allegations of compromise and corruption in the Nigerian judiciary in recent times. Expectedly, some legal practitioners hold contrary views to this. In an exclusive interview with the EOM Business Network News, Managing Principal of the ANA Law Practice, Adeze Anna, spoke about this development.
Corruption is embedded in Nigeria, and yes, it has crept into the judiciary. I am also not saying that there are no corrupt judges, but I'd like to state that if you were to put the judiciary at par with other agencies of government, I am of the opinion that the judiciary is still the saner option. And given the fact that because of the nature of the judiciary, it has its self-cleansing mechanism. It is also under the scrutiny of Nigerians, whether they understand what is going on in the judiciary or not. There is a burden on the Nigerian judiciary to be clean.
In another development, Managing Director, Jimson Office Equipment Limited, Alhaji Adeyemi Jimo, has identified the requisites required to be successful in business.
What the government is supposed to have done to people like us, we that will provide employment for people, they need to check and do the statistics and see, oh, let's see where we can help these people. Because now, if the business is not running again, we drop them, it will come to more problem in the society. And this is why Jimson Office Equipment is different. Anybody who comes to our office, who works with Jimson, you will never see them cheating. Because I, as the boss, what I do, I teaches them what is right. That, okay, see, you can imagine now, before 27, 28, you take your salary. Why did you think you are getting your salary? It's because we work as a team. If you are playing football, everybody wants to score. What will happen? Everybody will go home empty.
In the real estate sector, conversations are still ongoing across different sectors of the Nigerian economy after President Muhammadu Buhari signed the 2018 budget. Managing Director, Greenpeak Shelters Limited, Fanuel Lawrence, has expressed confidence that the budget will improve the state of the real estate sector.
We are happy that the budget has been signed by Mr. President, although it's coming very, very late. But we are hopeful that since 2019 is an electioneering year, we assume that government will begin to dole out money, most especially for capital projects, in the bid to also stimulate economic activities. We are looking at 2018 with high hopes, and we do think that Nigeria is already out of a recession, and if you look at the indices, we are growing, at least not at the pace we would have wanted to, but at least the economy is growing. So we're looking at 2018 as a promising year, and we hope that by the time government begins to release money for capital projects, at least the money will go around and everybody will smile.
In further development, Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, Pinatech Engineering Nigeria Limited, Chief Christopher Ndowesi, has commended government for the support so far given to the housing issues in Nigeria.
When houses are built and people can acquire their own houses without stress, you can acquire their own houses without paying all the monies. Let government be involved. Being involved is establishing a reliable and a trustworthy federal mortgage bank with a lot of finance so that they can aid what we are doing and aid the people who need the houses. And also encourage the banks to give loans to general public so that they can acquire their houses. I think when that is done, you know, common man in the street will smile. And I believe this present government is trying. They are doing their best in terms of budgetary allocation to housing sector, but they need to do more.
And that is the EOM Business Network News.
Royeke Obalade is the Executive Director of Grande Oakbridge Montessori School.
I was actually trained as a teacher, and I taught at, when I came to Lagos, I taught at Federal Home Science Association School before I went to Lagos State School at Gbaja Boys High School. But later I had an inclination. At a time I even feared out of teaching. I started trading. But later the Lord impressed it upon me that I should start a school. And that was how I went back to class. I went for my master's at University of Lagos on educational administration, and also to train as a Montessorian directress at Heritage Montessori School in Jibowu. And by 2005, the school was established. You have the private and you have the public. It's good. Somebody said that the private schools are able to support the government because they alone cannot do it. You know, see, Lagos State is really trying. Among all the states, Lagos State is really trying to beef up the standard of education, especially in public school. That is not the same in many states. Personally, I am not looking forward to the collapse of public schools, because that means some people will not be able to afford to educate their children. So as the public school and the private schools are going side by side, let them grow together. Let's continue to encourage them. That is my take. We are not going to relent on our efforts. One of my children, when he was interviewed, he said when he got to Caleb, the teacher was asking him that, which school did you come from? Because many times he's answering questions. There was even one time that he said he was the only one that was able to ask the question. And in this place, we prepare our children to write common entrance, and they pass to any school they actually want to. One of our children has passed to Loyola Jesuit in Abuja. And he has written entrance to that. That was the very first time that we are going to present a candidate for that exam. And he passed. See? So there is no exam they write that they do not pass. In fact, our current head girl, Munachi, passed all her common entrance exams to like 4 schools that the parents have to now pick and choose the one they want. So in the competition that is around, we keep on improving on what we are doing.
Collins Oyemali is the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of CEO's Design Label.
Well, CEO Designer is just like every other fashion house. This is a complete fashion house. We offer strictly customized style of clothing, which runs from clothing to shoemaking and accessories. To make clothes with excellence, distinguish the way people have perception of how African clothing are made in the world. And I think that is the principle behind us here. Every young company in the world is aspiring to grow. So we are not okay to say we have achieved so much, but we're looking at what we are going to, where we'll get to tomorrow in future. And I think that is the push, not counting what we've done thus far. Until everybody in Nigeria knows about CEOs, I think I won't be able to say we have achieved so much. It's tough doing business in Nigeria, everybody knows that, and we have been able to distinguish how Nigerian attires and native attires are made. We were able to do that by introducing a system of tailoring called tailor to size. So this tailor to size is what distinguishes our product from every other fashion house in the world. We are very mindful of our targeted goals and the targeted audience. Our clothes are strictly ceremonial, and like the name connotes, it's not for everybody. So with that in mind, we are guided by the rules of excellence and trying to deliver the best quality products to our intended customers. We hope to see CEOs on the front run of every newspaper, front pages, and every street in Nigeria, every well-to-do guy in Nigeria should know about CEOs and know that we do things with a difference here. In every society, people coexist. So you can never get yourself away from every other fashion house. Don't forget that if those people don't make their clothes, we won't be able to put our style of clothing and say this is where we are nursing and this is where we are we are, going to be to make a difference. So in terms of answering your question, I think I would rather say we would live to continue coexisting and to see how we can further bring in some other plans that are secret to us, how to best, trademark our product in the world. Every business in Nigeria today, one of the major challenges you have is power. You spend so much generating power, and just like every organization, finance also is one of the things that a lot of Nigerians who have foresight, who have good knowledge on how to do things are not able to do them because they have no means of getting funds. Doing fashion in Africa, you need to be prepared for the worst, i.e. tailors, they are never friendly people to a fashion designer. They feel you have the expertise, they are the one making it happen, so the money should be split into two. They have a bigger section of it.
Mokhtar Aliyu is the Executive Director of Urban Abode Limited.
Urban Abode is, it's part of a larger, I would say, conglomerate, which is the Urban Shelter Company. So Urban Abode is the arm of the company that focuses on small scale but typically high-end developments. It's been a fascinating journey, it's been a humbling journey, and a wonderful classroom. Because you learn quite a lot along the way in terms of business operations, in terms of market, and a whole lot of things. So Urban Abode is a company that does high-end, I would call them niche developments, and this is what we focus on. It's been getting better. There was a slump that came in 2015, which slowed real estate development as a whole. So housing, which is an aspect of real estate in general, was particularly affected. But other parts of real estate too, commercial development, retail, mixed use, everything was affected by around that 2015 time. But since then, there's been a gradual pickup in activity. And that pickup started around 2016, I would say mid-2016, and has continued to 2017. So definitely I would say that it's been going fairly well, and it can only get better. Whenever you encounter some sort of uncertainty, you have choices in how you react to it. So what we did is we adapt. We're known for typically doing high-end residences. So these are residences that exceed 100 million, and to as high as whatever anyone's pockets can afford. But we decided to introduce projects that aim at a much lower price range, something within the 50s, 60s. And this has really kept the company afloat, has kept us going, and made us realize, yeah, this is an alternative that we can offer to sort of balance out, our operations in difficult times, like, a couple of years ago. So this is what we did. We adapted, introduced something that is more fitting, for the time period. Yeah, that's terribly unfortunate, and it's something that's very avoidable, actually. I would say that this comes down to a combination of negligence, greed, obviously, and improper supervision. So the negligence comes from the people doing this development, and the greed. You want to cut corners and certain, for instance, mixed ratios of building materials. You try to compromise it, all in the name of trying to make a profit. So that's from the developer side. Supervision is also, I think, a key contributor. Lack of supervision. We have authorities that monitor these construction, the construction that happens in every site. I think they're doing a good job, but sometimes, obviously, human beings are human, and this results in some of the things that we see, unfortunately. We have done a number of projects. Like I said, our niche is small-scale developments. We did a development in Gariki, which is about 5 units. We did a development in Wuse 2 called the Prestige. We did a development in Asokoro called the Platinum Villas. Currently, we're working on a development also in Asokoro, and this is ultra high-end, about 6 units, overlooking the water with panoramic views of Abuja. So really nice development called the Silver Lake Mansions, and we would like to, take you guys on a tour if you wish and check it out. Something we're very proud of, and we believe that it's going to disrupt the high-end market once we finish.
Alaowe Broderick Bozimo is the principal partner, head of chamber, Broderick Bozimo and Company.
I was called to the Nigerian Bar 1971 and decided to set up practice in Warri, in Delta State. Thereafter, my wife joined me and we formed this partnership. And we've been practicing law, general law practice. We didn't specialize in any branch as such. But because I also read some insurance and have an ACII in insurance, I decided that I should consider specializing in spillages, pollution law, environmental law, and that is what I concentrated on. If your parents send you to the UK, America, what have you, to study, it means you have to study. You've gone to pursue the golden fleece, as it were, and you study, you hard work. You work hard. You don't just qualify as a lawyer, a young person in Nigeria, no special experience, no tutelage. You just go there and go to court the next day, frustrating the bench, the judges and magistrates, and speak English, nobody understands. Those standards are really falling. In my time, you wouldn't have that. But I believe that when they are called to bar, first of all, you should raise the entry point requirement. It shouldn't just be LLB, general degree and past degree. It should be at least LLB 2-1, thereabout. And then when you qualify, you get attached to a chambers. There is no quick shortcut to success. It's impossible. One of my children loves to dance and sing, pretty child of mine, young lady. And she said, Daddy, I want to be a musician. I said, because you see Motala, you see Genevieve and all these people dancing, you think it's easy. These children you see succeeding, they don't sleep. They wake up, rehearse, they do gym work. But you love your beauty sleep and you can't make it. It's as simple as that. If you make up your mind that you want to succeed in life, hard work, and more hard work. There's no magic about it.
Prior to the revisions of the rules of professional conduct, there was an absolute bar on advertising for lawyers. Now, there was a revision a few years ago to the rules of professional conduct. So lawyers are permitted to advertise, but within very strict guidelines. So, for instance, you're not allowed to advertise in a way that brings the profession into disrepute. You cannot promote your services in a way that demeans another legal practitioner. So, insofar as you operate within the guidelines of the rules of professional conduct, limited advertising is permitted. But having said that, it's a tricky line to follow, because you are not supposed to do it in a way that, like I say, brings the profession into disrepute. So while some advertising is permitted, it must respect the dignity and nobility of the profession. Over the next 5 years, we're going to see some very interesting changes and additions. Now, there is a very big negotiation going on the continent at the moment concerning the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. And 44 states so far in Africa have signed this agreement. And Nigeria is in consultations with a view to signing. And what that agreement will do is to create the biggest free trade area in the world. Free trade not only in terms of goods, but in terms of services, which invariably includes legal services. So what I'm trying to say is that inevitably and increasingly in Nigeria, we're going to see a globalization of legal services. We're going to be in direct competition not only with our peers in Nigeria, but with international law firms that are seeking to come to operate within our legal space.
And that's about it on today's package of the EOM Business Network. Thank you for spending your precious time with us. We hope it was worth your while. But just in case you missed out on any aspect of it, then come with us to eomcoms.com and any of our social portals, as you can see on the screen. Sincere gratitude to our sponsors for your continued interest and support. Always remember, we are charms. Oh yes, I remain Olorogo Elkanah Moare. Please, let's do this again. Same time, same channel on Monday with Ethel Okbala. We'll see you then.